Have you ever wondered why your life feels different? Why the storms that break others seem to awaken something deeper in you? Why grace keeps showing up in ways that even your logic can't explain? There are chosen ones, and then there are those few souls who carry something even more divine. A sacred favor. A unique spiritual fingerprint. A divine appointment that says, "You're not just chosen. You're God's favorite." This isn't about pride. This is about purpose. Because with great favor comes great responsibility. So if you've always felt there's something rare, something heaven never stopped whispering about you, then this message is for you. Let's unlock the 7 rare signs that you're not just called, you're cherished in ways the world may never understand. Have you ever noticed that your conversations with God don't feel like formal prayers, but something deeper? Something more personal? For most people, prayer is a moment in time, a routine, a list of requests. But for those who are God's favorite, prayer is not just an act, it's a lifestyle. It's not something you do, it's the way you breathe. You don't wait until bedtime to speak to God. You're in constant conversation, with your thoughts, your silence, your tears, your joy. God isn't just someone you talk to. He's someone you walk with. And here's the rare part. You feel God answering you even when you don't use words. You feel Him through a sudden peace in chaos. A gentle nudge when you're about to make a wrong turn. Or an overwhelming calm that falls over you when no one else understands what you're carrying. That's not just prayer, that's communion. It's sacred intimacy. It's what happens when your soul and the Creator are so in sync that language becomes unnecessary. You start to notice you're guided, watched over, whispered to. Sometimes it feels like you're just sitting in silence, but in that silence, something holy happens. You're being refueled. You're being recentered. You're being reminded who you are. When you commune with God, you're not begging. You're not performing. You're belonging. Because when you're God's favorite, He doesn't wait for you to approach like a stranger at a throne. He meets you like a father who's been sitting with you all along. You don't need perfect words. You just need presence. And the most powerful prayers you've ever prayed weren't the ones spoken out loud. They were the ones whispered by your spirit and answered by His. That's not just being chosen. That's being known. Have you ever walked into a space where you didn't know a single soul? And yet somehow doors opened, people smiled, opportunities appeared, and things just aligned? It wasn't your resume. It wasn't your charm. It wasn't anything you could explain logically. That's favor. And when you're one of God's favorites, that favor follows you, especially in unexpected places. You could be the most unqualified person in the room and still get the job, the breakthrough, the yes. You could be the outsider and still end up chosen. The overlooked and still be the one appointed. The underdog and still win battles no one thought you'd survive. Because when God's hand is on your life, the rules shift. He uses the foolish things to confound the wise. He positions you in places that don't make sense, on purpose. Sometimes you'll find favor in rooms you never applied to, in conversations you weren't invited to, in blessings you didn't even pray for. Not because you're perfect, not because you have it all together, but because heaven already made a decision about you. God favored you before people even formed an opinion of you. And here's the divine truth. Wherever you go, God goes with you. That means His presence prepares the place before you arrive. So when things just happen to work out, when you, randomly, meet someone who changes your path, when you're protected from something you never even knew was a threat, it's not random. That's divine favor doing what it does, showing up, showing out, and reminding you that you're marked. Because God doesn't just lead His favorites. He prepares the way ahead of them. So stop questioning why you're always in the right place at the right time. It's not luck. It's legacy. It's destiny. It's God's favor following you, even into the unfamiliar. And the more you walk with God, the more you'll realize. You don't chase blessings. Blessings chase you. You might not call yourself a healer. You might not hold any formal title. But when people are around you, something shifts. They breathe easier. They feel safer. Their walls begin to lower, and their pain starts to rise to the surface, not to wound them again, but to finally be released. That's because your presence carries healing. Not through performance. Not through preaching. But through the unspoken energy of someone who's been through it, and came out with light instead of bitterness. There's something about the way you listen without judgment. The way your silence comforts more than empty words. The way you walk into a room, and people just start telling you things they've never told anyone. You might wonder, why do strangers always open up to me? Why do people feel like they've known me forever? Why do others say, you don't even know how much you've helped me, when you didn't even try? The answer is simple. You carry healing. Not because you set out to fix others, but because you allowed God to heal you. You let Him turn your heartbreak into compassion, your trauma into wisdom, your silence into understanding, your loneliness into presence. You became the safe space you once prayed for. And now, that healing pours from you effortlessly. Not every chosen one carries this gift. But when you're God's favorite, He often gives you the kind of heart that reminds people they're not alone. You don't have to say the right thing. You don't have to do anything special. Your life, the very way you live, love, and hold space, is already enough. You've learned how to sit with the broken because you were once broken. And you've learned how to comfort pain because you've cried those same silent tears. You carry a light in you that whispers, "You're safe here. You're seen here. You're loved here." And the beautiful part? You don't even realize how much healing you bring, because it flows through you naturally. It's not your ego. It's your anointing. It's not your charisma. It's your character. It's not your training. It's your testimony. You don't heal because you try to. You heal because you are healed, and healing overflows. That, beloved, is one of the rarest signs of being God's favorite. You don't carry hype. You carry hope. And the world feels it. You walk into the world every day with strength in your eyes, a smile on your face, and a storm in your soul that no one else can see. They think you're calm. They think you're confident. They say, "You've got it all together." But what they don't see are the late nights filled with silent tears, the inner wars you fight just to keep going, the spiritual warfare that strikes hardest right before your breakthroughs. When you're God's favorite, the enemy knows. And he doesn't attack you like everyone else. He attacks you harder, because of what's on your life. You carry a light that darkness wants to extinguish. You carry purpose that fear wants to paralyze. You carry influence that hell wants to silence. And yet you endure. Even when you're exhausted, you show up. Even when you feel abandoned, you still love. Even when you're misunderstood, you keep serving, keep praying, keep believing. Why? Because something deep inside you, deeper than pain, deeper than fear, refuses to give up. You've survived things that would have broken most people. You've walked through losses, betrayals, and seasons of isolation, and still found the courage to rise. And maybe no one clapped for you. Maybe no one said, "I see what you're carrying." But God did. And He still does. Because the truth is, the battles you fight in secret, they're not in vain. They're building endurance. They're deepening your discernment. They're shaping you into the warrior you were born to be. See, being chosen doesn't mean life is easier. It means your path is sacred, and sacred things are fought for. You endure, not because you're superhuman, but because you're supernaturally protected. Even when your strength fails, grace holds you. Even when your faith wavers, purpose pulls you forward. So don't be discouraged when people don't understand your battles. They weren't meant to fight them. They weren't built to carry them. You were. Because when you're God's favorite, your battles are just as big as your blessings. And if the warfare is intense, it's only because the calling is enormous. Don't let the unseen battles make you question your worth. Let them confirm your assignment. You are not weak. You are chosen. And heaven fights with you, every single time. Call it intuition. call it discernment. But it's more than that. You feel what others can't explain. You walk into rooms and immediately pick up the unseen. You dream things before they happen. You feel pain that's not even yours. Because your spirit is sensitive to heaven's whispers. God's favorites have this unique ability to decode what's hidden. You might see through lies. Hear truth in silence. Feel destiny in the invisible. This isn't a curse. It's a commission. You've been gifted to see into realms others ignore. Because God trusts you to protect the sacred. Leadership found you before you found yourself. People look to you for answers. For direction. For calm. Even when you're the one in need. You may not hold a title. But your presence leads. You may not seek attention. But eyes still find you. That's because your life carries authority. Not man-made, but heaven-given. And sometimes that weight feels like too much. But you've been chosen to guide others, not because you're perfect, but because you've walked through what they're walking through. God's favorites don't lead from above. They lead from within. How many times have you made mistakes, and still came out blessed? How many times did you feel lost, and still got redirected? How often did you fall, only to realize you were falling into mercy? That's not coincidence. That's grace. When you're God's favorite, your grace account never runs dry. That doesn't mean you live without accountability. It means you live under protection. Grace doesn't excuse everything, but it covers you while you learn. And it reminds you, again and again, that you are seen, known, and loved in ways no human can replicate. Being God's favorite isn't about favoritism. It's about favor for a purpose. He favors you because He knows what's in you. He placed assignments in your hands, vision in your soul, and legacy in your walk. And He needs you to remember. You are not here to fit in. You are here to shift things. You are not here to survive. You are here to transform. So walk boldly. Speak gently. Love deeply. And never forget. You are not just chosen. You are God's favorite. If this message touched your spirit, comment, "I know who I am." Share this with someone who needs the reminder. And don't forget to subscribe for more divine messages made just for you.